Every shonen anime or manga has one thing in common: a dynamic ensemble cast. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Gintama, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Dragon Ball, Jujutsu Kaisen, you name it. And now Apple Black will be no different. You want an ensemble cast that makes fans and readers feel like they want to be part of the crew. Like you're one of the wizards on Fairy Tail, part of the crew on Fire Force. Anyway, something that makes you feel like you're a part of the team. And today will be my latest attempt at summarizing the main cast of My Manga Apple Black that I cooked up first time 10 years ago, as well as some dynamics between the characters, published on Saturday AM, as well as now also a webtoon original. Free to read now. I made videos like this at the start of the channel, and it's now time to revisit / update it in the best way possible. I wanted a dynamic between the cast that was fluid and characters that stand out individually with their own drives and goals while sharing some mutual ones, some of which that hang fate in the balance. I've made many drawings of the cast together, but this time we'll do it again while showcasing some scenes ripped from the sacred pages of my manga. The world and story of Apple Black mainly follows Sano, who we've touched on many times. But if you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to like and Holy Ghost smash the subscribe button. Let's get into it. Sano, the main lead of the series, master of no riz, white liar of Apple Black. I only say that because he drops little white lies and comedic moments here and there, but overall in the overarching story, it does have and hold more weight than it seems, and we'll explore that in the series itself. But he's also the Rurouni Kenshin-esque, kind-hearted, socially awkward being wielding the arm of a god. Erotus, arm of Merlin, key of dreams, branch of the Trinity, yada yada yada. This video only touch on the surface of certain things because I want the story to handle most of the heavy lifting. The characters come from tribes with unique abilities, sorcery, and even with his tribe extinct due to the Ebony Peak Wars, where tribes fought, vying for supremacy over one another. There's more to it than that, but roll with me here. All Sano has left are his abilities to teleport. Think Dr. Manhattan from Alan Moore's Watchmen, or Nataru from Birdie the Mighty The Code. Highly underrated anime, especially season 2. But teleportation that's used in complex and interesting ways. Same way Luffy has Mr. Fantastic powers, but he uses them in ways that are much more complex than your average Mr. Fantastic show. Reed Richards does do some more cool stuff in recent memory, but I remember as a kid growing up, you couldn't even compare the two. Just who was more fun to consume. Maybe the new movies would change that, but we're talking about manga here, so imagine being able to teleport not just you or what you touch, but think powerful enough to teleport what you reach for, or maybe what you can just see. Obviously, you can't make your character too overtly overpowered and things of that nature, because that can kind of break the series and ruin things, honestly. So give me the benefit of the doubt that I know what I'm doing and I'm not gonna do that. But you will have those aura moments where teleportation is used in a really, really cool way. Just don't worry, I'm not gonna get too carried away within reason. But just know we'll be having a lot of fun with Sano and his Erotus arm, shrouded in lots of mystery. Sano has recurring nightmares of his father's demise and seeks to find the culprits responsible for the unthinkable, forgive them to find closure, and maybe free himself and them as well, rather than joining the ongoing cycle of vengeance where everybody loses. Now, that's also a theme that you find in a lot of series, not just shonen series, but just a lot of shows and series in general. It's up to me to find interesting ways to subvert expectation with interesting and unique alternatives, essentially making sure my execution is on point. And I do think I have some interesting ways and avenues that I will explore that most other series don't. Well, at least not that I've seen. Sano grew up in isolation on his father's island due to the fear of his status as the Trinity, based on certain prophecies, and this has probably fueled his socially awkward nature. He's had 2 mentors up to this point where we meet him in the series, and 2 of which we will cover in this video, but when they weren't around, he always had his messy, mischievous pet mutant, not a monkey, Weeworth. The world consists of people who became sorcerers and sorceresses due to the black that descended from the skies, as the stories entail. But that black also affected plants, the technology of the world, as well as animals with certain mutations, hence the term mutant. I'll leave the books to explain this even further and maybe even better. In the story, many presume that Sano's Erotus arm is his wand, but it's not. In fact, he does get a wand later in the story, an evolutionary wand called Salamander. But I'll let the story kind of break those down and what's an evolutionary wand and the golden wands and all of that. The golden wands are more explored in the light novel, but Salamander, a brush, as an evolutionary wand which can essentially evolve depending on the sorcerer's will. And so we see his wand take certain other shapes, some of which I would like to keep a secret, even though I have mentioned it in previous videos, and how that would enhance some of Sano's already based teleportation sorcery. But let's just move on for now. Bottom line is, wands don't give you abilities, they enhance the abilities you already have in unique unique in different ways. The legendary golden wands are rare and have unique abilities as well, but we do find one in the story very early on called Astro Jinx, owned by our very own Opel Wa, where we meet her and her protective pet mutant Orion. The Apple Black origin light novels, like I said, explore the legendary golden wands a little bit more. That's a prequel following Opal's sister Willow Wantmore and her wand, Nova Jinx. Kind of this golden whip wrapped around her hair, following her as a rebel in this new world against the Eden government under Gideon Bomburi, really infamous in this series when we start reading, King of the Rebellions, while Willow is often referred to as Rebel Princess Spectrum. Opal, on the other hand, like Willow, her rebel sister, has the ability to copy the sorcery of others, and she does copy Sano quite a bit. I'd wonder why she looks at him so often. Astro Jinx allows Opal much easily copy sorcery, and once she gets strong enough, maybe it'll allow her copy and store sorcery, where you'd have multiple abilities at once. Opal is a fun fan favorite as well, currently working on some popularity poll stuff, and she is in the lead. She seeks to help and guide her defected sister, at least that's how she sees it so far, and return her back home before she left on her rebellious adventure. In many ways, she sees her sister leaving as a failure on her part, and as you see that manifest in some of the decisions that she makes throughout the series, as well as the way she feels from time to time. Next up, Ruby, Ryuzaki the Great, is a loud, brash, arrogant character and a rival to Sano, one that Sano didn't ask for, but in many ways, whether he realizes it or not, welcomes, because he believes it comes with a friendship he's never had, even if Ruby fails to recognize it. Before the Bakugo comments rain in, my characters were revealed online in like 2010, 11, 12, 13, which predate most popular manga today. Ruby was way before Bakugo, Sano was way before Eren, at least before I knew what Attack on Titan was, or its rise in popularity. But even today, I love those series, and they have inspired and influenced me in different ways, just not in the ways you may think. Ruby's abilities are similar to that of Momo from My Hero Academia, but then had a baby with the Red Lanterns from the DC universe, while also being very, very volatile and unstable. Why? Here's why. Ruby is a Three Nile. Think Jon Snow, but just the last name Snow, reserved for bastard. Tree Nile is a term reserved for sorcerers with no ties or understanding to their heritage or ancestry. Usually they don't fully understand their sorcery or abilities because they don't know where they're from, maybe even who they are, who their parents are. There was no one to train them, none of that. So he doesn't have a full understanding of who he is or how he works. Sometimes that can make you angry and frustrated as to why you're alone and abandoned in this world. Lucky him. However, he's not fully alone. He has a best friend, or at least he thinks he's Ruby's best friend, in Simon. Can easily be seen as comic relief in the series, but a highly mysterious bookworm of Merlin books in this world. Think of them as like biblical texts for Merlin as the god of sorcery. But it's a fun character, cheering everybody up and having a blast, almost with no sense of danger. Another fan favorite by a mile. So mysterious that it's actually not appropriate to spoil much in this video at all. But I will say he loves the ladies and brings a unique twist and a more palatable approach to the nosebleed, very prominent in anime and manga. At least if you keep reading the series long enough. Despite the friendship he shares with everyone, Sano is the most cautious around Simon, as for some reason, Sano, the boy from Isolation and Terrible People Skills, is a decent judge of character. Another mystery. We also have Obi, short for Obinna, a Nigerian name, where I'm originally from, so we have some of my roots trickling into my series. Obi is just as suspicious of Sano as Sano is of Simon, for a multitude of reasons that will become apparent as you keep reading. The Batman to Sano's Superman. We've discussed Obi in this channel before. We even designed him from scratch. Some might say another black character with electricity powers. I almost gave him water powers actually, but due to certain plans, it was inevitable. Think of Darker Than Black, which a lot of people refer to as Chinese Batman. Obinna also brings in some more Nigerian roots with his wand named Shango Chuku, which kind of combines Yoruba and Igbo a little bit with the Shango from Yoruba and Chuku from Igbo. I'm Igbo, so it's really like a thunder god thing going on, but it's an electricity-based yo-yo wand that he uses to help channel his electric currents and do some really cool stuff. Obi also hates corruption, mirroring some of the corruption that I saw growing up in Nigeria, and I draw from that, putting into where Obi is from, a country called Yota, not exactly where all the other characters are from, Black Bottom Island. Yota and Black Bottom Island are 2 of the 6 countries of the Eden continent, all of which we will explore at some point. Obi also butts heads with Opal often, but it's all love in the again. Obi also is already a cloak. In this series, you have these sorcerers that go to a guild to get a cloak where you're a recognized sorcerer of Eden. So Obi's already won, but from Yota, and is a year ahead of the rest of the cast. And then you have Neon, or Neona Mercury. Has some tragic history with Ruby that has fueled their love-hate relationship, where both parties sort of blame each other, yet themselves, for the events of the past that led to a mutual loved one that they both share in a super coma. Without giving away too much, Neon has the abilities to increase or decrease the weight or mass of her body and potentially objects she touches in interesting and complex ways. Think Wabisuke from Bleach, or Miss Valentine from One Piece eating the pound fruit. Or the kilo fruit? Which is it? Whatever it is, Neon has the potential to take that to new heights. She's the Wednesday Addams of the group, even though she increases the weighted shields to hide the true softness in her heart. And like Victorious, where there is a jade, there is a cat. Meet Lily, a terrible cook, but the most loving glue of the crew. A leader in many ways, as student body president of Black Bottom Island's Guild for Young Sorcerer, hails from the prestigious Dardanelle tribe, and for many reasons, leaves Sano quite tongue-tied. Some reasons might be mystical. While her health brings more mystery, she always powers through a positive attitude, though that positivity may be an attempt to hide more underneath. All that said, she finds comfort in fostering her sisterly bond with Neon. Lily has branch or wooden-based sorcery, where she can grow branches from surfaces with a certain proximity to her. For now, I'll leave her wand a mystery, but the branches will often have unique twists to them, all more fun to be explored in the manga. Next, we have Osamu. Being cold is on brand due to the ice sorcery. The most skilled and brightest student in all of the guild, Osamu in many ways loses some of his kind and soft nature due to the trauma of losing his mother and having another terrible anime dad who blames his weakness for the mother's death. With a father that dons multiple wives and offspring for his royal family, Osamu's beef with his dad fuels his ambition and for him to surpass Papa and not only take over the family, but maybe even Eden itself. He has no time for shenanigans or a roommate who's a nuisance in Sano. Osamu uses ice in interesting ways, but also through an orb, which is another item in Apple Black that just helps you absorb more impulse from the surrounding. You can think of impulse as like chakra or cursed energy or ryatsu or haki or whatever. Orbs gather impulse from the environment and convert them into impulse of your own until the orb itself overheats, giving some limitations to the item. Imagine the similarities to when Uryu gets energy from the surroundings to battle Mayuri, but not on that massive a scale. Now we're going into more adult mentor figures like Mikael, a former leader of a disbanded or destroyed special operations group called Onyx, but now a strict professor at the guild. Due to his trauma in the field, he's determined to make sure that no students end up graduating and getting a cloak who shouldn't be, to prevent unnecessary death out there in a cold world of Eden. Under the harsh exterior, Mikael cares deeply and is an avid Nuori player. Think chess, but with my own little tweaks to it. Mikael's wands are a pair of cigarettes, wands he uses to control smoke fumes in battle. There's a lot more to his abilities, his wand, his cloak, but I'll leave the rest for the series to reveal. Next we have Angelo, longtime best buddy of Mikael, who also whoops him at Nuori. Angelo, Sano's primary caretaker, mentor, guardian, and lord of the First Fellowship of Black Bottom Island. I'll have a more extensive video that breaks down how the office hierarchies work in Apple Black. But you can think of it like a lieutenant in Bleach. The lieutenants in this case are the lords, and the captains are the dark lords. However, despite the clean-cut and angelic demeanor, Angelo isn't afraid to get dark and be on demon time with his marionettes, kind of like the puppets in Naruto, but mind control, even though there is some sentience there. He carries a small snake-like marionette called Milky, a little cute, but dangerous. I'll let the books reveal more of his abilities, his true nature, his wand Uriel, and how it works. But bottom line is Angelo cares a great deal for Sano and has served under Sano's father at some point in the past. But as you can imagine, there lies a cool mystery behind Angelo and Madame Naomi, a vain, steamy alcoholic old lady with a youthful exuberance. There seems to be a lot of those in anime. How many strong old ladies can you name in anime? Let me know in the comments. She's playful, funny, yet the leader and heart dark lord of Black Bottom Island. So she's in charge. She's the Hokage, if you will, the captain commander, at least of this country. She's not always serious, but she's also not to be seriously messed with. Being related to Mikael is also no shocker, as she shares a very similar smoke-related ability. A strong leader shrouded in the mystery shared with Angelo, but also play key parental figures in our main character lead Sano's life. Can't wait to let you guys in on all the secrets. It can be challenging juggling all the characters at times, but I think so far I've continued to improve with the character writing and doing a good job with them according to fans and the feedback, especially from Volume 5, the Rumble Trials. Y'all can let me know if you want a specific tutorial putting all of this together. This is my giant poster commemorating Apple Black being on Webtoon Original. You can see me play around with the characters, put some really dynamic lighting on it with some blending modes in Clip Studio Paint. If you guys are interested in a deeper dive into how I put this together, I can make a more tutorial on how to put a poster like this together. Just let me know in the comments. But I'm really happy with the end result. And eventually, this poster will be available if it isn't already. And if it is, it'll probably be somewhere linked in the description. Really cool image showing off all the key characters, especially early on in the series. Much love to those who supported it, who supported the channel, and the books wherever you got them. But now you can also read them on Webtoon. Shout out to those who also support the Patreon. A lot of the support goes back into production for the videos and the manga assistants, helping me put up all this good stuff. But if you want more videos like this and you want to check out more, don't forget to like this video and go smash the subscribe button, hit the bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything, and turn on all notifications. Links to everything you could possibly need will be in the description. Check out more fun videos. It's White Manga, and I'm Audi 9000.